Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. Some days are like this. I thought we'll start this show celebrating. I thought it will be a day we say we have regained that World Heavyweight title. I thought it would be a day that we said, yes, we have cemented history as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC. But then it started with Anthony Joshua. I think it looked like a mission impossible, trying to get that title back from Alexander Usyk. We were still thinking about that. I wouldn't say we're mourning. It's not that bad. Nobody died. It was a split decision, which means the guy tried. But then no matter how much you try, it is the end result that matters. There has to be a winner. And there was also an option of draw. But even if they have drawn, Usyk would have still, held on to his title. But he won, which is a back-to-back loss, by Anthony Joshua. What this pertains, to his title or his, how do I say it? I'm trying to pick. Sometimes you find it difficult to pick the right word to describe certain situations. But in Channel Sport on Sunday, want to bring you fun, want to bring, so no matter how hard it is, we try to, to paper the walls and say, okay, he has 3 losses, but just to 2 men. And this fight, he wasn't knocked out. It wasn't a disgrace. It wasn't a unanimous decision. It was a split decision. So we'll talk about that. And then for Kamaru Usman, how do you describe that? I think I wanted to start this show with the phrase from what I read so many years ago. I don't want to give it a timeline, exact timeline or so. But there is this book written by James Hadley Chase. It is called The Sucker Punch. He said, it is when a man becomes so confident that he leaves himself wide open for the sucker punch. We saw Leon Edwards, starting the fight as if he was on fire. But that was not it, because Kamaru Usman came back. And if Edward won the first round, it would have been just slightly. But for the next 3 rounds, it was dominance. He dominated up to the last round, up to a minute. In fact, he was taking him down as if it's, takedowns in UFC comes like, as a piece of cake. But that was not it. 59 seconds to a 25-minute bout. He fent and boom. And that was it. And our dreams just went with the wind. We'll talk that. Will join us. But then, on a more refreshing note, over the weekend, there was the EGA, the Annual General Assembly of the Nigerian Football Association. Sometimes I get myself stuck between calling them NFF or NFA. Both of them are their names anyway, but the legal one is NFA. The one they give themselves is NFF. Not that we support that law, and there should not be any. In fact, trying to say let them try to, the president should sign a law of, for football as distinct from other sports. To me personally, I don't support that. I should abrogate that one. Decree 101 to Act 1 or whatever it is should be abrogated. Let the football not have different laws and other sports don't have other. There's no need for a law for football. I tell you, there's no need for that. You don't have a law for NFF and then don't have a law for boxing. Are you going to have another law for swimming, another law for wrestling? Now we know where the medals have been coming from. What of athletics? With Amoso and our own AC say, okay, give us our own law for athletics. But that is it. So beyond that, we'll look at sports, and then Gunners fans, they have never had it so good. Last season, they started with 3 losses from the first 3 matches. This time, it is 3 wins from the first 3 matches. So, like a house. They say, yeah, this is our time. The last time we did it. I love Gunners fans because when they give you history, there is nothing you can do about it. So the last time when they went unbeaten. So they're already dreaming of an unbeaten here. And for Manchester United, it has never been this bad. When you played 2 and you lost 2. And not just lost, we were massacred, especially beaten at Old Trafford. And the Brentford that beat them even yesterday couldn't even get, muster a win in another derby right there in England. So, but they will be facing the second most successful team as far as the EPL is concerned in England, which is Liverpool, and that match will be Monday Night Football. Controversies also on that. We shall talk about it because Klopp is only telling them, if you guys don't play this match because of protest, forget it. We are not going to look for a replay. We have to collect all 3 points. So at the Cincinnati Masters, Tsitsipas sent out World number 1 Medvedev, and also Bonakorish is going to the final, having defeated Norrie Cameron. So those are the issues we'll be looking at, and many, many, many other ones. We'll decide some guests will have, will join us in the house. Our under 20 girls today, later today, they'll be facing the Netherlands for a place in the semi-finals, and they are saying, yes, we can do it. It is double-double. But I have Okpe in the house because the AGA has also said the elective Congress will come up on by the 30th of September, right there in Benin City, the Kingdom of Benin, Edo Kingdom, which means they give them 10 days extended. The tenure of this FA was supposed to end on the 20th of September, but they said, okay, let's go to the 30th, have enough time to do this. But before we join the King of the South, Okpe is in the house. Okpe, what was your take?
Yeah, thanks, Ken, for having me. You called it from James Adichie's a soccer punch. The last undisputed world heavyweight champion, Lennox Lewis, when he lost to Ashinrama in Johannesburg, called it the lucky punch. So it could be a soccer punch, it could be a lucky punch. So 19 years ago was the last time we had an undisputed world heavyweight champion, and he has he tweeted, I think it's high time we have a go at it, calling on Tyson Fury to take on Usyk. So lucky punch, soccer punch. Just a punch.
People are talking about this Usyk Fury. He retired. He came back. He retired again. He came back again. He said he was going to fight the trilogy. And then he now said, okay, he was going to fight for free. The next again, he retired. I mean, what is the status? Of course, it's a boxer. He can still come back even after 10 years of retirement. We saw George Foreman coming back after that Rumble Jumble and came on to at 39, came back to regain the heavyweight championship of the world. I mean, what is his status?
Yeah, the number one thing for a boxer coming back is money. Money, option 1, option 2, money, option 3, money. George Foreman said it, that he was trying to solicit for fun, and he said, look, I still have this bicep and whatever. I still have the muscle.
Yes.
And, luckily for some of us who only saw the pictures on, you used to have a encyclopedia then, but we had that privilege to actually see George Foreman, the guy they called the ABS puncher, and of course,
what he did to Fraser was unpardonable.
And he said it, that the rumble in the jungle, that what frustrated him was no man ever survived his punches, but he punched Ali, and at the point he got frustrated that no, this is my joker, and of course it's not working, and of course from that time he gave up. Of course, he was rumbled in the jungle.
No. Is that all you can give? Is that all you can give? You punch like a sissy. My grandmother don't punch this way.
When the Zairians, who, of course, you call them Congolese now, semantics, when they were saying Ali kill him, Ali Bomaye, Ali kill him.
Ali Bomaye.
To him, you could not understand that these are two black fighters, and one is the crowd favorite, and of course, that's just the beauty of boxing. And I think it's high time we just have that undisputed world heavyweight champion once more.
Yes, it's high time somebody cleans up this table. They started with WBC and then the WBA, and those were the two championships. Then suddenly IBF came into the main. And after IBF, we have WBO. After WBO, we have IBO and stuff like that. So WBF joined them. So a lot of champions are all there. But it used to be WBC and WBA. At the point we were saying one was racist. I think when we did during the racism, all right, somebody said, look, Ken, then let's go straight to Port Harcourt because the King of the South is waiting for us to join the show. It's a pleasure to bring back my brother Samuel Jr. And I know he went through all the fights. He went through all the fights with me. Sammy, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ken. Good to be back with you on your show.
Okay. I don't know. It took me time to to even start getting this smile on my face. Sometimes these things, we are first and foremost fans of the sport, and then that which runs through our vein is the Nigerian blood. So you can't take it away. No matter how dispassionate you said you want to be here, it affects you one way or the other. But then it as a duty and responsibility. I mean, to call it as it is. Where do you want to start from? Take that prerogative. You want to start with Joshua, or you want to start with Usman?
Okay, let me start with Joshua. I was one of those who felt that Alexander Usyk was a better boxer, a more technically astute and superior fighter compared to Anthony Joshua. But like you said, we're all Nigerians, and the sentimental spirit, the spirit which is not always dispassionate when we talk about the Nigerian project sometimes comes to the fore. And that was the case before the Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk rematch. I wanted AJ to win for very obvious reasons, but then it turned out to be what it was, because Alexander Usyk proved, that his performance in the first fight at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London last year was not a fluke. Yes, Joshua did have his moment in Saudi Arabia in the late hours of last night, but you have to say overall, Alexander Usyk was the better fighter. I was actually shocked to see the scorecard say it was a split decision. For me, it was a unanimous victory for Alexander Usyk. It's quite heartbreaking for me to say this because, like I said, I'm a Nigerian through and through. A lot of us this side of the world do throw our weight behind Anthony Joshua. But then you have to say hats off to Alexander Usyk. The smaller man, was a former cruiserweight champion, but then he moved up a class to fight in the heavyweight division. Took on a man like Anthony Joshua, who had a formidable record in the heavyweight class. But then, even when he went to AJ's country, went to his city in London, he outclassed him and went to a neutral ground, so to speak, in Saudi Arabia and put up an even better boxing masterclass against AJ, who I felt was even better in the fight last night compared to what he put up in the first fight in London. So congratulations to Alexander Usyk. Difficult as it is for me to say it, but you have to say he was a deserving winner.
Okay, what do you think was the main driving force in this fight? Is it the hunger? People are saying, Joshua, okay, the pride, you were knocked out before, and then you need to come and regain that. And then for Alexander Usyk, you said, I mean, when he finished in the statement, you had him said, this is for Ukraine, this is for the Ukrainian soldiers, this is for the Ukrainian nation. I mean, I asked in the Koiki discussion last week, which I'm also asking you, I mean, in terms of motivation, who was more motivated going into this fight? Has it got to do with motivation, or has it going to be the preparedness for this particular fight?
It's a wonderful question, and to be fair to both men, I don't think any of them was lacking in motivation. I'm going to start with Alexander Usyk, and not just Usyk. These days, when you fight against, when you play against in sport, anybody from Ukraine, you're not just playing against that team from Ukraine, you're not just playing or fighting against that individual from Ukraine, you're playing against an entire nation. We know about the invasion into Ukraine by Russia. And so whenever sportsmen on the international scene take to the football pitch, take to the hockey pitch, take to a boxing ring, they see it as a point of duty to defend the sovereignty of their nation. And to a very, very large extent, that's what Alexander Usyk wanted to do yesterday. Remember, he wanted to pay for this fight for all of his Ukrainians, wanted the fight to be taken away from pay-per-view. So, it will be on terrestrial television, so to speak, for all of his countrymen and women, even those who were not exactly financial well-to-do, to watch that fight. So Alexander Usyk was absolutely not lacking as far as motivation is concerned. And then using that same yardstick motivation to put side by side with lacking in motivation, because he had lost the first fight against Alexander Usyk, had a second crack, a rematch, just like he had against Andy Ruiz Jr. when he was beaten as a heavyweight for the very first time. And Joshua knew that he was putting everything on the line. He needed to get that victory to regain his belts, his 3 belts, and become a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Yes, I heard you talk about Tyson Fury. Is he retired? Is he not retired? Come on. We understand that Tyson Fury wants that big fight against Anthony Joshua. Joshua knows it as well. He wanted to regain his belt, become a 3-time heavyweight champion, and of course seek to unify the heavyweight division through the path of Tyson Fury by getting the WBC heavyweight title of the world. But that is not going to happen anymore, at least at this point in time, because of that loss to Alexander Usyk. So I don't think Joshua was lacking in terms of motivation. This is what I actually think decided the fight on the night yesterday. Alexander Usyk is on another plane when you talk about finesse, when you talk about tactics, when you talk about ability. No disgrace for Anthony Joshua, but look, sometimes you just have to admit that you're coming up against a better man, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. Alexander Usyk streets ahead of Joshua as far as the technique of heavyweight boxing at the very highest level is concerned. Breaks my heart to say this for very obvious reasons, but as a very dispassionate and objective journalist, I say once again, hats off to that man, Alexander Usyk, an absolutely well-deserved victory on the night.
Okay, let me also ask you this, because like Usyk just came into the picture. In that first fight, he took it. It wasn't supposed to be who he was to fight Tony Joshua. But then you now look at their background. Tony Joshua has 43 record as an amateur, which means he fought just 43 fights, winning 40 and losing 3. In his amateur days. And right now he has 27 fights in his professional career, where he also lost 3 now, and then also won the other 24 fights, 22 by knockouts. But then look at Alexander Usyk. Of course, it's Alexander, you know how we call it. Here is a man who fought 350. Compare 43 to 350 fights in the amateur ranks. Asami. And in those 350, this man lost only 15. He won 335 amateur fights. Now, add this 20 to 370. Add 27 to 43, that is 70. So we are saying 70 fights compared to 370 fights. So he is already 300 fights that he has fought more and Anthony Joshua. Does this experience, does it come into play? The ring, when you talk about craftsmanship in the ring and other things, does it come into play that probably Joshua started boxing at the age of 18 compared to this man who all his life he has been, it's like it is part of the second nature to him. What has, take this into consideration and see probably what happened to us while we look at it in a different light.
Ken, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, loud and clear. Yes.
Some network issues, but from my end, but that's been rectified. Now, this is how I'm going to answer that question. I had a chat with the Commissioner for Sports in River State, Sir Chris Green, who I work for as his special assistant. You're going to be getting mega bucks at the end of this month as an allowance. And I say to you, Ken, I'm going to share 80% of that mega box I'm going to get from Sir Chris Green with you.
All right. Go on. I don't know what is happening. What is happening to your audio? Okay, the network is freezing a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, go on, Sammy. All right. Okay. When Sammy comes back, I mean, look, I just asked about their amateur backgrounds preparatory to who they are now as professional boxers. I mean, maybe this has just 43 amateur fights. Is that just too little for him? I mean, of course, it's part through the European Championship and then the Olympics and that things will have been paved its way at London 2012, fighting at home before the people and all that. Does that make who Anthony Joshua that maybe if he had had more fight as an amateur boxer, he would have prepared him more for the life as a professional?
Yeah, for Joshua, it was, it came so early for him. They were having their own Olympics. So, of course, he was there with Ogogo. So, Ogogo, I think Joshua got the good medal. So, of course, after, when you are in the UK, after your Olympics, that is the height, the peak of your amateur career. So, you naturally move on into the professional rank. So, that is where the stagecraft comes for Usyk. That is where naturally it will be better when you think about the likes of Ellis Savon. And that was why, was it Teofilo that was
Teofilos
that he has to fight Ali. And he said, what is $1 million to the love of $1 million Cuba.
Cubans,
So
yeah.
the craft, it would naturally be head and shoulder. The 300 or the edge of the 300.
Theophilus Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Theophilus Stevenson, yes.
So the edge will always be there for managing the ring, but as a proper heavyweight, Joshua, all he needs to do is to rely on his punching ability, which of course twice now fail him. And as a boxer, you don't lose to someone twice, and that means the person is better than you. So he should not allow. Joshua should have dictated the fight, because you can't allow someone that is a better boxer. You are just more of a fighter.
A fighter,
You're a fighter, not a boxer, because he knows the rudiment of the game better than you are. So you should not allow him to dictate the pace. Once he dictates the pace, you can never go near him. And I think that is where
any consolation that this match ended, that it fighted on the split decision, even if he lost. That, I mean, he wasn't actually. We can see his reaction. Okay, before you answer that, if it's possible, we can take Tony Joshua, reaction, after the fight. He collected that belt, threw it. Let's see if we can hear from him. There him is whipping here. I hope somebody's consoling.
Not whipping, fighting.
It wasn't enough, but I left everything in the gym. If I would have left everything in the ring, I would have won. But I definitely pushed myself in training camp to make sure the fight was more competitive. You're angry, you might do stupid things. So I was mad. But then I realized, oh shit, this is sport. Let me do the right thing and come back. And then I just spoke from my heart. Like, it's been so tough. Like, you see AJ holding it together, yeah? And I'm a hustler, so I try and put things together. It's really, really hard for me to say I'm proud of myself. I don't feel anything. I'm upset, really, like deep down in my heart. Like, oh, man. Oh. Nah, what?
All right, you saw him there. He's upset at himself, and that is quite emotional. Let's join back as Sammy is back with us. We're having some audio challenges. Sammy is back. Hello, Sammy.
Yeah, Ken, can you hear me now?
Yeah, very clear. Yeah, very clear. Very clear.
Okay, there were some network issues from my end. I deeply apologize. Like Anthony Joshua, I wasn't beaten, but I apologize like Anthony Joshua. Give me a yellow card. Don't make it red. Yeah, like I said before, your viewers heard from Anthony Joshua. Motivation wasn't an issue. If he wasn't motivated, he wouldn't have broken down in tears the way he did. I mean, that tells you that he put in everything in that fight. He knew that it was a make or break encounter. It was a win it or lose it all fight. He needed to get back his heavyweight titles, 3 of them, which he lost after that first fight in London to Alexander Usyk. And look, whether AJ says it or not, he was, and I think he's still burning for that fight against Tyson Fury. He wants to unify the heavyweight divisions. He's a schooled mind in the complexities of boxing. He knows about the history of the sport, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier. He wants to be mentioned in the same breath as all of the heavyweight greats. And just like I was talking about before the network issues cropped up, Floyd Mayweather Jr., who is probably the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time, he said after the first fight between both men in London, he said Alexander Usyk is a great fighter, just like Anthony Joshua, but that Usyk was doing his thing behind the scene, away from the headlines. But when you talk about Anthony Joshua, everything he does grabs the global headline. So that's the difference. Before the first fight between both men, I can tell you, Ken, that very few knew about Alexander Usyk, who had been quietly, slowly, and efficiently going about his business. So this is a man who is not an unschooled mind in the complexities of boxing. And like you rightly mentioned, this man has won, over 300 fights in the amateur ranks. And some of the greatest fighters you ever see cut their teeth by going into battle, quite literally, in the amateur ranks. That's where you get shaped as a great boxer. So Alexander Usyk has shown it. He now has a professional record of 20-0. That is absolutely ridiculous. It shows that this man is a great. And look, for as much as I love Anthony Joshua, I really want to see a fight between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. And I tell you, that's not going to be a shoo-in for Tyson Fury if that fight eventually happens. I say if, and that's a very big if, because Tyson Fury tells us he is retired, and whether or not he returns to the ring is a very, very big question. $1 million question. Will he return? I don't know. I think if AJ had won, no doubt whatsoever, I believe that Tyson Fury would have returned. It's all about the numbers as far as the heavyweight division is concerned. Unfortunately, for the neutrals, for Fury, AJ lost. I don't know whether Fury, would want to return to the ring to face Alexander Usyk.
Okay, now let's go to the other part two. Part one happened yesterday night. Part two happened this morning. And we followed every minute of that fight, every second of that fight, every breath in the octagon. And Sammy, the first round, you called the first round for Leon Edwards. Okay. Okay, but we are going on a very short break. When we come back, we shall talk about that first round and the other four rounds and the last 60 seconds of that fight and how. I don't know. I want to describe feelings. We're going to a short break. Hold, don't change this station. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. I don't know. One of the veteran Nigerian sport journalists, he calls it football. Where is it? Paul Bassi. Paul Bassi will say football. I mean, you saw Dortmund 2 goals up at home up to the 88 minutes. 88 minutes. Yeah, and they say consider. In Nigeria, there's what we call in Lagos, in the Yoruba Kingdom, there's what we call a basket. We call it akpere. You know, when you start leaking, and that is what happened to the Dortmund defense. I mean, how can you at home you're leading 2-0 and 88 minutes you are leading 2-0 at home? Mm-hmm. I mean, what happened there?
Yeah, that was the mirage in Dortmund. You can't call it a miracle. Because you can't be at home. You saw the supporter, the yellow and black.
Yes, everywhere is yellow.
Yeah, yellow and black in Dortmund. And of course, against the Bremer team that were not at your level and conceding 82nd, 91st, and 94th.
Yes.
It's just unthinkable for a short 3 point. And the Dortmund guys were actually starting the season well. But again, yeah, it goes that football.
Okay. Let's go to Port Harcourt. Let's go to Port Harcourt. I think Sammy is there. I asked him a question before we went on break. We talked about the 5 rounds of what transpired yesterday between on Kamaru Usman and the Jamaican-born Leon Edwards. Like I said, Sammy, you called the first round, for Leon, but that was as much as he did in the fight before 60 seconds or 59 seconds to the end of the fight. Are you there, Sammy?
Yes, I am here.
All right, okay. All right, so let's have your take. Let's have your take on this because this is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking.
No, it's not heartbreaking. Heartbreaking is a very mild way to put it. It's heart-rending. It is gut-wrenching. It is depressing. One of the most painful things I've ever imagined in sports. I mean, imagine having your hands on a laurel and then at the very last minute you have it snatched away from you so brutally. That was exactly what happened to Kamaru Usman. But I think you should have seen the handwriting on the wall quite early on, because before that fight, Kamaru Usman had a formidable record. Of course, we know his count as far as being unbeaten is concerned. Pretty much, he was just 1 win away from equaling the longest winning streak in UFC history. He was the overwhelming favorite, as far as the bookmakers are concerned, to get that win against Leon Edwards. And remember, this is not the first time he's fighting against Leon Edwards. He's actually fought him before a few years ago, and he beat him quite resoundingly. And at that time, Kamaru Usman wasn't the champion that he is today. But then, like I said, the handwriting was on the wall from the very first round, because before that fight, Kamaru Usman had never been taken down by anybody in the sport. But then Leon Edwards, out of nothing, perfected a successful takedown against Kamaru Usman. But then hats off to Kamaru Usman. He's got the blood, the DNA of a champion. He came back and won the second, third, and fourth rounds quite convincingly. And I raised a war cry, so to speak, in the fourth round towards the end, because it looked like Kamaru Usman wanted to finish things in spectacular fashion. And I think he was a bit he took too many risks in that final round, and then credit to Leon Edwards. He did what he had to do. He had a moment of magic in that final round with what? Just over 2 minutes to go, connected with that left foot to the right of Kamaru Usman's head. And of course, Kamaru Usman, he didn't know what got him. Sucker punch, went down, and the win for Leon Edwards. I think a clause will be activated. I think there will be a rematch. And if that happens and Kamaru Usman cuts off the errors, uncharacteristic errors, which we saw in his game in the early hours of this morning, I think he wins that rematch quite convincingly. If you compare what happened to Kamaru Usman with what happened to Alexander Usyk, yes, the same final result, defeats for both men. But if you look at what culminated in the final point for both men, I think it's different. Different in the sense that Alexander Usyk was always going to win if he brought his A game to the table, and that's what happened. But for Kamaru Usman, he was only going to lose if he made a mistake, and Leon Edwards had a moment he was never going to forget, and that's what happened. I think pound for pound, even Leon Edwards would admit that Kamaru Usman is a better fighter. You saw the kind of celebrations that took center stage from Leon Edwards and his team, because it was not a victory that they expected. If that kick hadn't happened and it had gone right down to the wire, Kamaru Usman had won that fight on points. It was just that moment of magic. But then in sport, never say never. It is not over until it's over. You keep your eyes on the ball until the final minute. Kamaru Usman didn't respect that, and that's why he lost. But then from a Nigerian perspective, we say Kamaru Usman is going to come back. He will have that rematch, and if he cuts off the errors that we saw this morning, Kamaru will have that belt round his waist put there by Dana White yet again.
Well, that was a question I'm going to ask you, and you have already answered it. I know somewhere along there must be something like a rematch clause, because of course everything in the UFC has to do with Dana White. Who Dana White feels he makes the fight. It's a one-man show. And then you can in the press conference we also heard what he was saying. In fact, he was actually almost apologetic on the way the fight ended and stuff. Their cash cow is Kamaru, pound for pound the best UFC fighter. I mean, in recent history. And let's hope that that rematch will come in, and then maybe on that Sunday we shall come back here and then have smiles on our faces. Thank you very much, Sammy, for being part of the show. Thank you very much.
Pleasure is mine.
All right. Okay, you're welcome back. I don't know, but if that fight is because Kamaru dominated him.
Yeah.
Punch, kick, throws, stomp, everything. He was taking him down as if they were doing a wrestling match. I think it was a wrestling match.
Ken, Sammy says something that
yes.
When you want to end something in a spectacular fashion.
Exactly. He would have costed home.
Because just like when Usain Bolt was criticized for the normal show, but when it's about finishing,
yeah.
People say, no, it's disrespectful. I think if he had just kept his focus, not, oh, I've won, let me put the icing on the cake. It was more of putting icing on the cake that the lucky kick came. And of course, just like takes you back to the last Olympics when Oduayo, we thought was a sure medal prospect. And Igali said something I will never forget. Because of this, we purchased something in some certain combat sports. He said, no, that we should forget about it. That because the lady she lost, I think she was from Thailand or so, that the lady she lost to cannot go further. And of course, the next one, she was knocked out. That so when you see certain opponent that, look, this guy cannot, it was just like a Buster Douglas moment for Kamaru. But if that focus was there, not trying to put the icing on the cake, no disrespect to Kamaru, I think we should have been celebrating a one victory for Nigerian men.
I agree with you, because if it was just if it was a tight bout, his corner would have advised him, you have won 3 rounds now. It is 3-1. The only way you can lose is a knockout.
Knockout.
You get it. So yes. All you do is play safe. Play safe. Say, let him be the one that will come at you, and then you stay away for 5 minutes.
And because that was one of the reasons Joshua had to change his coaching team. That the first one they were telling me was doing good, while he was actually losing the bout in the first fight in London. So the bench, your coaching staff, they are not just there as spectators. They have to also contribute to your success, which is obviously what is lacking, or what we lacked in this defeat.
Okay. Let's brighten up the show a little bit before we go back to these serious matters. let's go to football. I know that's what shares you guys up, and we also open the lines very soon if we can get the results. Of course, like I said, we'll start with APL. I know most Nigerian football followers, have one EPL fan that they're supporting or the other, even those that are supporting the new team that has been promoted. It's not, we don't call names here, but I mean, when we say things, people know that some of them, their teams left the Premiership, for over 20, 30 years, and they are back. Others ones are very rich, making money. Everybody is now saying it is all about money. Even though they don't have money before, now they have money and they can call the shots. So let's see the results of what happened yesterday. Like we said, okay, that is a Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay, Tottenham with Harry Kane getting his 185th Premier League goal is now above Aguero. So 1-0 over Wolves.
185 goals for 150th EPL goal, 185 goal for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, then 250.
Then 250 overall. So that is
185 Premier League goals.
185
goals Premier League
for a
goals.
single club.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that takes him
above Aguero. So it is only Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer.
And so 75, he needs 75 goals to catch up with
Wayne Rooney, and he can catch up with Shearer.
So he needs 75 goals.
He can.
Yeah, I'm saying he needs 75 goals.
Crystal Palace
against former European champion Aston Villa.
I love that former European champion.
The only European champion without a point in the Premier League is Manchester United.
Yes, okay.
So Everton getting that they forced the draw against Nottingham Forest, two-time European champion. Then Fulham getting their hard-earned win over Brentford.
In fact, you see, I just saw the Nottingham Forest, but like that Crystal Palace match, Crystal Palace winning 3-1. Last week they went to pick a draw at the dreaded Anfield.
Yes.
So which means it wasn't. I mean, I think Vieira is building a team that has his own image and likeness, toughness. I wish Roy Keane will also build on that team.
No, Roy Keane cannot. He cannot. It was not as a player. Those things you need as a manager. I didn't have.
But he did that at Sunderland. He won promotion with Sunderland to the
When he got there, he had to walk away.
Of course, but that is
he cannot. He cannot. So the trouble Leicester losing to.
What is happening to Leicester?
Maybe whether we just start somewhere.
Nothing.
Maybe it starts elsewhere, because when Spiker has to leave, and now you are talking about Fofana, you are talking about T-Mills. So
I think they are having financial issues.
Possibly, and maybe the manager's heart is also elsewhere.
Okay, AFC Bournemouth.
Then the rave of the moment, Arsenal.
On top of the league, unbeaten, scoring goals,
unbeaten.
As if
they started last season with losing 3 streak on the bounce, and now they have a winning streak.
And that's our new captain, Martin Odegaard. And that guy was touted as, the one of the youngest, the next Lionel Messi, the next Pele, the next everything. When when Real Madrid went for him, and took him right there to bought him there. But I think he's now trying to
justifying
that hype.
Justify the hype.
That yes, that potential was not lost on him. The magic he was doing as a youngster is translating to play.
But let's see how it goes. Just maybe one 13th of the Premier League, because you have 13 matches.
It's a marathon.
If after losing the first 3 matches, they were just 1 point outside of the Champions League slot. So winning your next 3 could send you on relegation.
Exactly.
So let's just see how it goes for the table-topping Arsenal.
The table-topping Gunners, and then tomorrow it will be Manchester United taking. Okay, let us see the fixtures. The fixtures for today and tomorrow.
Chelsea
Leeds United taking on Chelsea.
Taking on Chelsea.
Yeah.
Then West Ham taking on Brighton.
West Ham too are yet to pick a point like Manchester United.
Yes, they were not European champions. They were Cup Winners' Cup champions in 1965. So they were not. They were Cup Winners' Cup.
West Ham won the FA Cup in '66.
No, they won the FA Cup in '64. 64. Won the Winners' Cup 65, and that was why they said Bobby Moore was the first person to collect 3 different trophies.
Yes,
in
and
Wembley.
And then the Wembley.
In Wembley, because the FA Cup was in Wembley.
The
Winners' Cup was in Wembley. Then the World Cup was in. So that was 64, 65, 66.
I remember that series. I remember that
for
series.
West Ham United. Then the 2 billionaire clubs, Newcastle taking on Manchester.
What makes Newcastle a billionaire club? I mean, how much have they spent? I mean, please, please. When you don't. I think you should use that word with respect. The United have spent billion. How much have they put their potential?
Okay, maybe I'll take you to what the Fuji Maestro says, Colinton, that if you have money like MKO, you cannot spend money like MKO. You don't even have the money like MKO. So the mere fact that they are not spending the money does not mean they don't
let
have
them spend the money.
So the 2 meeting of the billionaires.
Okay, I agree with you. Let's go.
One historical club against the 2 domestic club cup competition winners, Manchester against Liverpool.
There's the 2 most successful clubs in England and in Europe.
No, the first and second most successful club in Europe. So club have said if there is any thuggery tomorrow, they should just award them the
3 points.
Yeah.
That is okay. We are seeing Ten Hag and Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, what do you make of the guy said, I want to leave, I want to play, I want to score Champions League, I don't want Messi to overtake me.
Okay, I think from Ronaldo that is being childish because you joined the club that was in the Champions League. You took them back to the Europa League because with your effort, with the effort of your colleagues. So it's not the appropriate person to actually said you want to play, because you've taken the fans. The fans handed over the club to you when they were in Champions. So you've
a leader.
You've taken the Tuesday, Wednesday football from the fans to give them Thursday football. So the fans should even be the ones complaining, not you that where you came back on redemption for your redemption. So I think left to me, if I was the manager, I think I'll just allow Ronaldo to leave.
Okay. 70 million for Casemiro. I mean, United, look, are they desperate, or is this man the man that will plug that leak hole, collecting 4 from 4-2 from Brighton?
Casemiro going to United, you just be United wasting their money.
Okay.
Casemiro cannot fix the problem in United. You know, Ragnick said something when he was going. He said they need to sign like 10 quality players.
No, but okay, but let's look at it. They signed Eriksen. Eriksen is in that midfield. Bruno Fernandes is in that midfield. If Casemiro in that midfield, are you saying that midfield is not good in? So what is the problem?
Ken, cost-benefit analysis.
Yes.
Casemiro is not a player, is not a pacey player.
No. Casemiro, if we are having Fred or McTominay, you now have a Casemiro. I mean, just like we're talking about Arsenal, bringing in Zinchenko, bringing in Gabriel Jesus, and see how they have, up the ante. I mean, if total quality management, if you improve the parts, it improves the whole. So at each, if they're saying that defensive midfield role, they have an issue. And that's okay. This is they have identified Casemiro to be the man that can do it.
I want. And I told you so situation. Yes. Casemiro going to United will never give that cost-benefit analysis. Casemiro, we're talking about motivation.
What is the problem of United? What do we expect the coach to do? Let us take it from that way. If you believe this move is not the right move.
No, Casemiro is not. United cannot motivate Casemiro. I've been coming from the Olympia eyes from Madrid.
If the coach say I'm giving you this responsibility, is that not enough to motivate him to say, look, I would be the one that fixed it. The arrival of Cantona brought trophies to Manchester United. You understand? After going over 27 years without it.
Yes. You had a Cantona that just did it for Leeds United.
Yes.
So
and the Casemiro that just won the Champions League with Real Madrid.
That is exactly what you are saying. This challenge you have in Real Madrid is different. What this challenge is come to cope with in Manchester United. In Real Madrid, you have just like 3 good matches in a season to deal with. But in Manchester United, you have out of 38 matches, you are talking about 23 high-level competitive matches. So I'm saying it, and I want to be quoted. Casemiro going to Manchester United for 70 million would be a waste of resources.
Okay, let's see. I mean, we want to open the lines. We want you guys to join the show now. Let's hear your opinion. Is this the season that Arsenal will make hay? They've not won the league title since 2003, 2004. And coincidentally, that was the season they went unbeaten. I mean, sometimes things are difficult to understand. A team won the league unbeaten. And after then, it's just full stop. I mean, I thought it's supposed to be from then on. Since then, Manchester United have won about 6-7 times. Chelsea 6. We're winning it. Manchester City, Leicester City, and then we are still waiting for Arsenal. But this season, they give it to the owners of the team. At Arteta's lowest ebb last season, that is where they renewed his contract. That's where they have confidence in him. No, that's where they believe in the project.
No, that is what title can do to what title can do to a manager, and that is why forever I will ever respect Jose Mourinho. After getting the FA Cup for them, because title sort of boosts your confidence. It's like, I can't go wrong. Yes, I've won something. Yes, I have that template. I can always fall back to this template, a winning template. So that is the difference between Arteta and Lampard. And that is why I think Lampard will likely be the first manager to get the boot in the Premier League.
Okay, let's hear from Olaf. Hello.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank God. This, in my face, there's an argument. After the Anthony Joshua loss, can you please tell the whole world how much the money that he will receive?
I think both of them receive 33 million pounds. 33 million pounds
each.
It has nothing to do with the loss. They've already decided their pause. They've already signed the dot headline how much you are going to earn. How much guaranteed, how much were coming from pay-per-view and all those stuff. They're about 33 million pounds. Do you want 1 million out of it?
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And secondly, what is the result tomorrow? I mean, can you predict what will happen on Monday against your team?
No, why should I predict what is going to happen? Normally you come here to cry. You cry, you call it whatever it is. People are saying your club was giving to go to the country, Kwara United. You have not said if it's an Iraq club now. You will come here and then you say no, we are going to whatever it is. Your club didn't play. They knocked them out of the FA Cup. They are not taking. They've given them the slot. So what is your? Let me put you. What is your take on that? Oh.
Okay, my take is that I really appreciate what the NFF done.
Oh, you appreciate?
I appreciate. That is the rule.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If it is saying that our Ranger was in 4th position, what you want to say? And United was in 4th position. And
thank you.
And by the grace of God, we will tell them, our governor, our club.
No problem. Thank you. Your governor is not going to play football for you. Now, thank God that we want all our representatives to do well. But we're only saying that Kwara United have got of course, the rules are there. It's not as they follow the rules, but we said transparency. They would have everyone would have transparent with those. But they've already said, they've now told them that they should go and start from quarterfinals. They should restart it. And whoever wins, we won't play Premier League this year and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe from the state the team is going to come from. There are some
already in that meeting, Kogi United are already finalists. After skipping quarterfinal, semi-final, they were not even part of the meeting.
Yes.
They abstained. They just sent the apology that they were not going to be part of that meeting. They were not part of that meeting. So why the other MPFL clubs were there, Kogi United, who were already finalists in waiting, did not partake in the meeting. So I think that just sums up everything about this current NFF.
Sums it up.
Because the FA Cup, the Federation Cup is your flagship project.
That is one.
That is your
Nobody's organizing on your behalf.
No excuse, no third-party interference. This is okay. This is a federation. This is my pet project.
Yes.
So if you fail in your pet project, that just sums up the whole thing from 2014.
The FA Cup.
Federation Cup.
Federation. No, you see, sometimes when I talk, when they say, you are going into nostalgia. When Bayern, 74th anniversary, we're winning the Champions Cup then in Europe. Rangers International was winning it in Nigeria. You understand? The same years. Bayern will win, Rangers will win. Bayern will win, Rangers will win. I mean, when you are going to the National Stadium to go and watch the FA Cup final, when you are going there, the whole is like the road to Wembley. The prestige goes with you. Everybody goes there. That is what it is. And then you can't. And then this, thank God, you know, okay, this thing has sponsorship. It is a sponsored tournament. Then let's go on a break. When we come back, we shall tell you how the next elective congress will take place. You will hear from them right there in the city of Benin on the 30th of September 2022. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. The lines are still open. And I tell you, when we open the lines here, anything goes. We do not restrict you on what to talk about. Sports out there, just what is in my point out. That is what the show is all about. That is Cincinnati Masters right there. And then the world number one was just knocked out by the Greek god, Sisyphus, Stephanos Sisyphus. And then he will take on Courage, who also beat Cameron Norrie against. Sometimes these cities are all there, but that is where it is called. It is a match. When you get over there, it is not the favorite that wins. Go and play it out if you're better than me.
And for the sports.
Sports.
It's not a team sport.
Yeah, and for the ladies, Madison Keys, she is coming back. I mean, the last time she was up there was when she lost, I think, the U.S. Open final to Sloane Stephens. But herself and Stephens, I don't know what happened. Their trajectory has just gone down. All right, let's go to Ghana. I like to hear. It's been long we had from
Hello.
Ghana. Hello, Chidi. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Hello.
Go on. You are clear.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Chidi, go on.
Always, once I close from church, I used to come and sit on my telly watching you people every Sunday.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But my only concern is that why our Nigerian Football Association cannot do something right. Every problem, complaining. Why? They can bring everybody together and round table and do something right. Let us be doing something right in our country. What is wrong?
Let's hope they will get it right at this time. The roadmap to a new administration is starting. Yeah, they will have their elective congress come 30th of September. But I hope that the same people that went to court will not go back, because this thing is going on based on the promise the federal government gave that they are going to expand. You know, yeah, they are going to expand the House, and not just on the 44 members. But then let's see if we can hear from some of those guys who were there. Maybe can we get from Barrister Sheyakin Wumi is there, the first vice president of the NFF. We don't have that one here. Okay, okay, if possible also. Since we're talking about the protagonist, Tijani Babangida, if we can, when that one is ready, can we have Babangida and me speaking on there if it's possible? Yes, all right. So, I don't know, going there between now, is it possible, you know, for them to amend their statute, you know, get new members and then vote and approve it before the elections take place come 30th of September?
Ken, to be fair, we are running against time. There is time constraint. We can just have like a soft landing, like an ad hoc arrangement, but trying to go through the whole process, I don't think between now and 30th, we can effectively do it, except we just want to do a wishy-washy job. But that will also still give us a litigation issue in future. But if we want to do it the way it should be, I think we can just get an ad hoc arrangement while the Congress goes on, and after the new board comes in, we have this thing properly documented.
Okay, let's hear from Emeka. Emeka is calling us from here, Lagos. Hello, Emeka, how are you?
Hello, Ken. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Emeka. How are you? Go on.
Anthony Joshua lost.
Yes, he lost.
I noticed that at the end of the right, during the award of belt to Usyk, the show of drama emancipated during that period.
He has apologized, Emeka.
And I'm afraid there's going to be a sanction on Joshua on that.
And maybe they might
they were throwing out the belt. Is not a kind of and when he was holding the flag, the Ukrainian flag, he was uttering some F word. So they collected it to just do all the anger in him, you know. But notwithstanding, the show of sportsmanship should be shown.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can remember when he lost against Ukrainian giant, the Vladimir brothers.
Yes, Klitschko, the Klitschkos.
And you know, that's how football should be.
No, when he won now, when he won, yeah.
Yes, in Germany.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Emeka. Thank you very much.
I think it was more because he was shocked at the loss.
He
said he was actually prepared. He left everything at the gym. So, but again, the beauty about boxing is this: boxing is like withholding tax. All your penalties, all your fine, they will deduct it from your purse before they release your balance to you. So, if there is any fine, they will take it from 33.2 million pounds.
Okay. Let's hear from the major protagonists, some of the stakeholders of Nigerian sport on the AGA and also the elective congress and what their opinions are. Let's see. I think let's start with if we can start Barrister Seyi Akingome, who is the first vice president of the FA.
On the eve of an election, we do accept. I mean, I do accept at least that there's a lot of review, and it's not just about including, expanding the. In fact, that's the list of the problems that we have. It needs to be brought up to 2022. It needs to take cognizance of digital and many other things. So, but it's not. It can't be done in a short time. It's not possible. It will take at least, if we do it properly, it will take 6 months to a year.
A member that collected palliative, recognized by FIFA, a member recognized by the board, a member that already their signature is still in the constitution of NFL, that is statutory, and they are not invited. You can have another union, but are those the ones you call union? Are they passed by the Congress? Did our signature is changed in the Congress? No. We're still members of the Congress. And let me tell you, most of the FA chairmen, they know about this, and they already alerted these people that you cannot hold your Congress without the real union, which we know, and their signature are there. We didn't change. If you want to change it, you bring it to the Congress before the Congress, and even if you bring it to the Congress, you cannot expel one of the 5 components that come and make an election. You bring them to the ethics committee, where they will invite the president. And then they are going to tell me exactly what is my fault, what we do as a union. And I can be able to defend, and they can bring it back to the Congress. Then the Congress can be able to take a decision on it. Maybe it has been happening before, but I believe that now it's different because the union becomes one.
I belong to the South South, and Article 33 said there shall be 15% of the board, two representing each of the 6 geopolitical zones. And the person representing the South-South on board the board of NFF, of which whatever decision arrive at is binding us. We lost him and have not been replaced. Then 4 of them, the chairman of the various leagues, were appointed against the spirit and letters of Article 12C, Article 13B, and Article 33.6. Let me just go. Article 12C said one of the rights of members of the NFF that they are to nominate candidates for all positions of NFF to be elected. Then 13B said all decision-making bodies of the NFF should be through election. So by the appointment of this thing, are we now saying that they've done the right thing? If the answer is in the negative, meaning that whatever they have done today, with the inclusion of these 4 members who are appointed rather than elected, amounts to nothing.
When you think that these things are ending, that is when the drama comes. But before I go to Okpe, I just want to let us take our daughters, the Falcons who are playing today, for the under 20, and see just how motivated they are. Because they're talking about double. Now, if it is ready, let's hear from our Falcons. They will take the Netherlands for a place in the semi-final of the FIFA under 20 Women's Championship.
We are going to bring out our best, double our efforts against Netherlands. We doubled our efforts against France and Korea, but we are going to double it, because this is a stage we have to execute everything we have been learning. So the next stage is semi-final. So we are not hurried to leave this tournament for now. I am still saying, and I'm repeating it, we are going to bring them down.
Okay, let's go to Ola in Abuja, but I'm still saying, and I believe it, and I will believe her. Ola, how are you?
Yes, I'm very fine.
Yeah. Go on.
Yes, I'm very fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ola. Go on. You are loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. First of all, let me comment on defeat. Can I go on?
Yes, just go on.
Well, I can only say that as a Nigerian, I felt disappointed. But as a liberal boxing pundit, I won't be too much disappointed, because even before that bout with you, I found in terms of skill, in terms of aggression, Usyk has got it over Joshua. So I didn't really see Joshua coming out of that bout. But you know that in boxing, anything can happen. One punch can just change the tide of
exactly.
Everything. So I was expecting that kind of scenario to play out, but unfortunately, it didn't go out the way one would have expected. So it was not. What happened yesterday was just a reflection of what boxing is all about. Usyk was the best boxer. But regards to because when he asked about Arsenal, I'm an Arsenal fan already. Can I say go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't want to call this a fairy tale, but the team is actually playing very well. They're playing very well. I believe that no matter what happens at the end of the season, I wouldn't want to go and be overtly optimistic about the chances of the team winning the Premiership, because as it is now, Liverpool and Man City are still ahead of Arsenal in terms of the composition of their different teams. But in terms of competing for the top four, I think Arsenal will be there at the end of the season. That's my own conclusion. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
All right, thank you, Ola. Ola doesn't want. He wants to. Don't be afraid. Just say, look. You see our daughter. I said it. I believe her. You understand? I beat your chest and said, they say morning shows today. Let us close the show.
Yeah. So with the Falconet, well, but again, Ken, I've known Tijani Babangida since 1990 when he was with Tornadoes, and I think everything Tijani said in that interview, I don't think from 1990 to date he has said so much. I know Babangida I knew him since 1990. So if I've known someone since 1990 and in just how many minutes he has said more than he had ever said, there is fire on the mountain. But I think the discord, the seed of discord was actually sown by the board, and I think that is not fair.
The state of discord, and it is not fair. Transparency should be the answer. Like we said, I want to play the ITO Cup, your flagship. If you know they were not going to, whoever emerges is not going to represent Nigeria, you let those who are playing. This is the position. We are running late. We need to fix a team. Let us take the 14 from the league, and then you go ahead, but you don't just lead them on. And then, like I said, you surreptitiously remove the name of a union and put another one. The guys that our signatures are still there. I don't know. I'm Ken Ochonogo. Let's go up to the high. Where is my barrel? Go there. Let us have a very blessed Sunday. Stay blessed.